good evening to you. My name's Wayne. I am the Lone Headbanger. Thank you so much for joining me on this rather dark Wednesday evening. So, I'm going to do a subject today that I've been wanting to do for a good while. It's the subject of loss. This was triggered by an incident last night, not 5 minutes up the road from me. Basically, a group of young people were in a car, and without knowing the circumstances as to what exactly happened, it got wrapped around a tree, and 3 of them were killed, 2 were in intensive care. And so they were pretty much all teenagers. I think the driver who was killed, he was about 21. And I just thought, well, that was a tragic loss of life, and also I wanted to do this subject because I've seen a lot of posts on Facebook recently from a lot of my friends who are struggling with their own losses, with loved ones passing on through one thing or another, and there seems to be an awful lot of it. And obviously there was Eddie Van Halen who died the other day as well, and originally I wanted to do this subject because of Sophie Lancaster. Obviously it's taken some time, but here we are. So, loss is a strange experience, I think, because you never seem to be able to get any closure with it, because it can come from nowhere, and even when you're expecting a loss, it can still, or it will still surprise you, because, as I said, it can happen so quickly that you don't get that sense of closure with it. Prime example would be when my grandfather died. My last words spoken to him were in anger, because he'd come in asking me to buy him a box of cigarettes from the village down the road, and I'd said no. Now bear in mind that my brothers lived with me at the time, and both of them were having breathing problems. One has asthma, one's got an autoimmune disease, so they were struggling with their breath, and with the smoke that was never going to help. And my nan also died of lung cancer, or breast cancer even, sorry, and I don't think the smoke helped that. And I said no because I was trying to protect my family as best I could. And I remember him being angry about it, and him shouting at me, and I shouted back, and we never got to reconcile, that I remember. And that's always saddened me that the last words we spoke to each other weren't nice ones. But I couldn't face him after that day, not because I felt guilty, but because of his selfish attitude. And I wish I could have resolved that, because generally speaking he was a great guy in his life, but that last instance with him ruined a lot of it for me. But as I said, I mean, I've had other losses as well, and I think it's cliche, I know, and they say time heals all wounds, and technically it does, but it'll leave a scar. So yes, time will get rid of the blood, and it'll stop the blood loss, and it'll certainly stitch the wound up over on its own, but there'll be a scar left. And I don't think you never get over a loss. I don't think. I think in time you just accept it. So you never really make a peace with it. You just kind of accept it. You'll always get those sad pangs of memory when you think back to someone, and you remember something about them, and you will feel sad. So, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with grief. Absolutely nothing wrong with grief at all. In fact, if you are grieving, shows you care. And if you are grieving over someone, then that usually means that they were a good person as well. And I think that's important when dealing with loss, is to remember who they were and the legacy that they have left. I like to think that when I go, I'll have people that will remember me, that I've left a small mark on the world, which I, with my music and with the videos, I like to think that I have left my little small imprint on there. And that's what you've got to try and think of. I'd like to think that when you do go on, when you do pass on, your life possibly does flash before your eyes, and you do see everything that you've achieved, all the friends that you've made, and with your family around. And I think that's important, to try and remain focused. Unfortunately, death is, as I say, part of life. We will all experience it at some point or another, and it doesn't get any easier. No matter how many funerals you go to, no matter how many people you lose, it never gets easier. But what you can do is remember that person for what they were. Remember the good times. Remember the bad. Don't look at it through rose-tinted glasses. Just remember them as a person. Add a bit of humanity to it. That's my opinion, because that can help sometimes. Because people tend to look through rose-tinted glasses at people when they've passed on, and it's not a true reflection. And yes, by all means, remember the good, but by thinking about times that weren't so good, it can keep you kind of grounded. And that might sound insensitive, but that's the way I've coped with things. So this is all just personal. This isn't expert advice. This is just my personal opinions on it. With my belief system, I don't believe that there is an afterlife or anything beyond. I believe we are a collection of electrical impulses and nerves. I don't believe that we go on to anything else. I think once we're gone kind of thing. And I must admit, I'm kind of comforted by that idea. But that's it. Depending on the person's faith or whatever, they'll have gone to somewhere far better than this place. Like I said, I will be content to be in the ground. If the person's a Christian or whatever, then if they believe they were going to go to heaven, then they've gone to somewhere better than this. If they believe in reincarnation, then they'll be reincarnated as something else and got a chance to make things better. There's always a little bit of happiness that you can have for them. And again, that may sound a little bit morbid, but that's just my view. That's my take. It's little things that have helped me through my periods of loss. And it can knock your mental health about a lot, I know. Especially when you've seen someone suffering for a long time. But the belief even, that the person isn't necessarily somewhere better, but they are better off. They're not struggling anymore, they're not suffering anymore. And I always think that realisation is a powerful one. It's almost selfish to wish for people to go on forever. It comes to a point where, when your body's breaking down, that you just want to make sure your family's happy and then potentially move on to whatever's next. So yeah, bit of a sad one this week, a little bit morbid. But I just wanted to share that. I didn't script this at all. I try and be as from the heart as I can with these. I have a concept and that's it. So I am going to leave it there. This is just my thoughts, as I said. So if you want to have a discussion about it, by all means, drop me a comment. I'll gladly talk about, where I'm coming from and what have you. Obviously, I'd appreciate any likes and subscribes that I get from this. So thank you so much for those people that already have and that are supporting me. Really appreciate that. I wanted to say a quick thank you as well to my friend Vicky Cooper, who commented on my video last time. You're absolutely right, as is my friend. What I've decided is I'm not going to go teetotal for the time being, because I don't want to put the pressure on myself and stress myself out. However, I'm just going to try and naturally cut down on the amount I'm having alcohol wise, and I think that'll be a good thing for me. I don't feel like I need it at the moment, so that's a step in the right direction. So thanks for the feedback on that one, Vic. I really appreciate it. And so with that, obviously if you want to get me on Facebook or Instagram, I do have the Lone Headbanger page on both. So if you do want to get in touch, those options are available as well. So thank you so much for watching this week's video. And I mean, it's, where are we? 7 o'clock and it's pitch black outside and it's been raining, so it is a more miserable world out there than usual. However, you know, we persevere, we keep pressing on. That's all we can do at the moment, and I hope you guys are doing well, and that you can continue living your best life as you can at the moment. So with that, my name's Wayne. I am the Lone Headbanger, as you well know. So stay strong, stay safe, and I will see you next week.